All right, so vibe coding is going mainstream. About a year and a half ago, I'd say it was maybe, let's say July 2024, a whole phenomenon began where you would see people who would use Claude specifically. It was after Claude 3.5 Sonnet launched. People would use Claude in order to generate code for designs. At the time, you're able to visualize the designs through coding snippets provided on the Claude platform. And then to take it to the next level, what people would do is they would copy from Claude and then paste it onto a development environment like Replit. And from there, actually piece together real software. And at the time, there was no real term that defined what that was. It was just a phenomenon that was happening where a lot of people who were sort of knee deep in the weeds of this AI space were doing. And so a few months later, probably about 6 months later, it was, I believe, February 25, which is crazy. It's actually earlier this year. Andrej Karpathy, a former CTO of Tesla, one of the co-founders of OpenAI, made a tweet on social media about this phenomenon around building software with AI and being able to put it together very quickly, where a lot of the times you don't even know what the code is even creating. And he termed it vibe coding, and the phrase went completely viral. And from there, you started seeing outlets pick up the phrase. You started seeing offshoots of it, vibe marketing. You've seen vibe editing. And this has now become a whole phenomenon. And so from there, we saw platforms like Lovable. We saw platforms like Bolt.new take hold. We saw Replit, which had already been around for quite a while, more so as a development environment that then turned into an AI platform, Cursor. And then came Rourke.com that originally started off as more of a web platform that turned into a platform for building mobile apps specifically. And Rourke started online, and they still have an online version of their platform, a web version of the platform, but then now they also have a mobile app. And so Rourke is now also a mobile app that can build mobile apps. And then you have Vibe Code app. Vibe Code app came about some months ago. I believe they launched in March. And this is the mobile app that can build mobile apps. And this is the first sort of, I'd say, native AI platform that started as this. Like, the whole concept of this was being able to build mobile apps from your phone. And it's come quite a long way. I was one of the early users and testers of Vibe Code app, and I used it a little bit in the beginning. It had a lot of work. It was very much so a work in progress, but I recently used it again, just to see the updates. They've gone through many, many updates, and the feel of it is more of like even a design tool, right? It kind of feels like using a CapCut, but it's a mobile app, right? And this is a mobile app that can literally help you build mobile apps, and you can actually ship it to the App Store from here, at least to test flight. So in this video, I want to show what it looks like to use a platform like this, because typically when I'm going about building mobile apps with AI, and you may have seen the app that I put together called Drop Card app. You can go ahead, take a look at it, download it from the App Store, iOS App Store, Drop Card app on the iOS store. I did that using Cursor. It was Cursor combined with Xcode. A platform like Vibe Code app at maturity completely streamlines the process of building that same sort of app. It still has kinks to work out. There's still areas where they can improve. But for any sort of, I would say, basic mobile app that you want to build, or a mobile app that you want to get started with, because you can start the app in Vibe Code app, and they have a feature where you can actually export it into a Cursor to continue working on it. Vibe Code app is good for. And so an idea that I've been kind of toying around with for quite some time has been an idea around fitness, where a lot of times, like when I'm just like trialing apps out, I'll build a fitness app in a couple of prompts just to test out a new platform or new tech that's on the scene. In this case, given that we're talking about a mobile app, right, that can build mobile apps, and Vibe Code app also has this new feature called the Cloud, called Vibe Code Cloud, to where you can actually build your apps as multiplayer or multi-users. So in this case, I want to build out a fitness app that will allow people to hold themselves accountable. A lot of people are always trying to lose weight or have fitness goals, wellness goals. So I want to build an app where you can kind of maybe do different challenges. You can join cohorts, and in that process, you can see what people are doing in your cohort on a day-to-day basis to kind of keep up with the goals that they have, and in that vein, hold each other accountable. So when you pull up Vibe Code app, you're going to see this screen right here, and it's very user friendly. So you're going to click on new app, and then you can actually use the voice feature. So they have this voice feature. I'm just going to start with this. So I want to build an app that is a fitness app called Hold Me Accountable. And even more than that, I'd say it's more so a health and wellness app. And on this app, you should be able to create different cohorts. And in these cohorts, you can invite people into them, people can join them, and people can choose different fitness goals that they have or health and wellness goals that they have and hold each other accountable. So if you have a goal of walking 1,000 steps a day, then you can track whether you walked those 1,000 steps a day, and other people will be able to see that you adhere to what you said you were going to do. Or if maybe you want to do 50 push-ups every day for 30 days, you can kind of journal that you did that, and other people can see that you are, again, adhering to what you said you were going to do. And I want this app to be chic, to be modern, and to have a very I'll say soft feel, but with contrast, where you don't have to struggle to see anything on the screen. As I mentioned earlier, it should be multiplayer or multi-user. And let's start with that. I'm going to click on enable cloud right there. So that's the Vibe Code cloud that I was mentioning. And so then what will happen from there is you'll now see all the text come about. This is everything I kind of stated. And then it'll begin to actually build out the app for you. And so Vibe Code app, they're really trying to be kind of like the CapCut of I'd say vibe coding platforms. They've really championed the phrase vibe coding, which I think has been really helpful for the space. And so what you'll see here is you'll be able to see it as it begins to generate. You'll be able to see it reason through what it's doing. By default, it uses Claude Sonnet 4.5, which is the top coding model on the market, at least top 2 for sure. And it gives you the option between Claude Sonnet 4.5 and Claude Haiku. And I'm going to be honest here while I'm using this, talk about areas where I believe they can improve as well. So for example, they can definitely improve in, and you'll see it like when the design gets created. Claude is typically not the greatest at the design aspect. So if you don't already kind of have a design that you can transpose to here, then it makes it a little bit more difficult. You've got platforms like, if you saw my last video, UX Pilot, which is really great for creating designs for your apps, whether it's web apps or mobile apps. But in this scenario, we're just going to let it completely do its thing and give us the result. So you'll see it reasoning and setting up the dependencies. On the bottom of the screen, you'll see these options, the different options that they have here. So you can add images, you can add audio, you can add haptics, which is kind of like that feel and the motion that you get from using mobile apps sometimes. You can incorporate different APIs, right? GPT-5, Gemini, image APIs, data APIs, and then you have some new components that will be coming soon, like for UI, which I just mentioned is one of the areas that they are lacking in. And then payments is coming soon as well. So you'll be able to incorporate Stripe or a revenue CAD or payments into your app as well. So you see here the reasoning, it's going through the different tasks. And if you've used a platform like Cursor before, for example, on Cursor, it's particularly when you're using Claude 4.5, Cursor now has a plan mode, but the Anthropic models are pretty good with sort of like how they lay out their tasks in that they go step by step, through that process of creating that app. And I think what's also very helpful is the app is basically like self, I would say, correcting. So when it makes mistakes, it'll kind of reason with itself in order to get to the sort of outcome that you've set out for it, the goal that you set out for it. So in that kind of way, it's genuinely a coding agent. Like this app is genuinely a coding agent. I have put in some complex prompts and tasks and requests, and in those cases it can have trouble, and it can even kind of break the app sometimes. But if you sort of keep it reasonable, it does a pretty good job at giving you what you're looking for. So just to kind of show some of the other aspects, so you have the this is the .env. That .env will show you, like, where you put in the API keys, and you can add variables. You can see your logs, which is, if errors come up, you can copy from the logs and paste into the text box. And what I would say is that what I like most about how this is being built is that it's definitely, they're doing a great job of finding the balance between making it extremely user friendly for those who are non-technical, or those who have no experience with vibe coding or with coding at all, and those who want to have sort of control or flexibility around how they build out the application. So it's extremely user friendly, but at the same time, you can see your coding logs, and you can see your .env files, and you can export the app elsewhere. And so it is that happy medium. Most platforms that you see out there are usually very much in one direction or the other. Very user friendly, but you don't really have the flexibility to see the code, for example, or really change the app how you, or the platform how you would like, particularly if you're more experienced or more technical. On the other end, it might be a little bit too technical, where it's like the learning curve is so crazy, or it's not, it's kind of like turn off to those who are trying to get into the space. So it kind of gives you that happy medium in that sort of sense. So this is gonna keep working, and it'll ultimately give you an output, and we'll be able to take it from there. And so one thing I'll say is that it can take some time for it to give you that output. But you can go get a cup of coffee. You can go work on something else while it's doing its thing. They really make it so that, like, the app is actually building itself, if you will. And so you build it, you see what it comes up with. It gives you an output, and then from there you can continue to iterate upon that. I will say that so far, personally, I kind of like, the vibe of a cursor, and kind of like having more control of it off the rip. But I see where this is going. I think that this is the beginning of just what it looks like for building apps to become like building content, or creating content, honestly, where it's so user friendly, it's so effortless, that it completely creates a whole new sort of paradigm. This is like the early innings of that, I would say. So interesting. Look at what they put here. So it said, due to the extensive amount of work remaining, and to get you a working app as quickly as possible, let me now implement the remaining core screens in a streamlined way. I'll create beautifully designed screens with full functionality. All right, so it keeps talking about this network error, but it has in fact completed. So if we scroll up here, we see it says, Namaste, your Hold Me Accountable app is ready. I built you a beautiful, fully functional health and wellness accountability app with a soft, modern design, exactly as he described. Here's what's been created. Features implemented. Activity feed, cohorts tab, wellness communities, goals tab, additional screens, color palette, UI features, back end using SQLite database with Prisma, 4 main tables, better auth for authentication, front end, sign up, login. The core infrastructure is complete. You can now test the app, and we can easily add goal detail screen with progress calendar, daily check-in interface, cohort detailed member list. So it even gives you kind of future examples of features that you can add in: streaks and badges, push notifications, photo uploads for proof. It's now running in the Vibe Code environment. All right, let's check it out. So if you go back to home and then click on open, and then it'll load up the sandbox bundling app, which is basically kind of like loading up the app. All right, here we go. Welcome to Hold Me Accountable. So we've got the feed, cohorts, and goals, and then it asks you to sign in order to see everything. So it gave me that soft field that I was looking for. All right, so we're going to type in, we're going to sign up, right? So we're going to sign up, create an account. And I've been impressed with just like the auth and how the back end is. Like it typically just operates pretty well. So, okay, sign up. Wait, hold up. I spoke too soon. Yeah, I definitely spoke too soon. So the sign up is not working. Oh, wait, yeah, sign up is not working. Hold on, let me try something. All right, so because that sign up is not working, we're going to have to go back. So they have this feature now called Pinch Me. So you can literally pinch the screen and it'll pull it out of the view. You can click on the arrow right here, and then it'll pull up sort of messages and where things are at. You could then go look at the logs, and if you look at the logs, it'll show you where things may be going wrong. So I could then click on, add logs to prompt and say that the authentication isn't working. When I try to sign up, it doesn't work, and then submit that, and then we'll see it resolve the issue. And then you can see here how it's refreshing, it's self-correcting here. Okay, it says the hot reload isn't picking it up. This is likely a caching issue. Let me try a different approach. Restart the backend process directly. Then it gives a command. Good, it's restarting. Let me wait a moment for it to fully restart. So it's literally correcting itself as it's going along to ultimately give you a resolution. Here we go. So now it's saying, okay, your app goal circle has been created. I don't know why I called it goal circle, but it shows up as hold me accountable on the platform. So let's go back now and check it out again. It'll load up that sandbox. All right, so let's try to sign up again. There we go. Account created successfully. All right, so we've got the feed. You got cohorts, so you can join or create a cohort. You can create goals. So let's say obviously I'm the only one on this app right now. I click on create cohort. So I can say, okay, something like, I don't know. Morning runners actually sounds good. Let's just call morning runners. Why not? What's the cohort about? A group, I don't know, holding themselves, a group dedicated to staying physically. I don't know why my phone keeps locking, but all right, create cohort. All right, cohort created. So then they gave you this invite code. All right, so now you have this morning runners cohort, and then people can join a cohort. So if I were to share this app with somebody and then they were to click join, they could insert the invite code and then join that particular cohort. And then you can, create your goals. And I'm not sure how much in the way of the functionality exists yet. But this is kind of like the base of the app right here. And so then from there, if you go back, and I'm going to pinch to take it off the screen, then now you can add other features to the app, right? If I wanted to, maybe I want to have some sort of AI feature and I add Gemini to it, or some sort of audio feature where you can chat with people on the app. Like you can kind of make this what you want, and so this is really cool, and probably the most interactive that I've seen in this kind of way for an app builder. And that, there you go. So this is hold me accountable. Maybe I'll continue to build on this, but yeah, I definitely recommend trying it out, seeing what you think. And so there you go. Definitely worth trying out. I can only imagine where this app is going to be 6 months from now, 12 months from now. They're onto some really great things, and we're seeing people send mobile apps to test flight. I've seen some people who have gotten their iOS apps approved. Having started with a Vibe Code app, I'm still kind of warming up to it. Again, I'm more so use Cursor and like that complete flexibility, but this is definitely kind of whetting my appetite more as well. So yeah, definitely check it out. That's what I got for you guys today. I'll see you on the next one.